Hello everyone, I am Paresh Gupta. I am the founder of GCC Global Foundation, an education expert and a finance consultant. And today we're going to talk about three very interesting habits that have helped me in building all the businesses. This is something which I recommend to all my mentees and all startup founders and all businessmen. So I'm going to share something very close to my daily life today in this video. We're going to talk about what basic utility skills that you can build and what basic utility habits that you can develop while you're working for your startup. The first habit that I want to talk about is financial management. We all understand that business is all about financial management. Business is all about managing finances better and organizing them well. My chartered accountancy journey has really taught me to manage this well. So I have created that conscious habit and exercise to do a 6-monthly drill of creating my budgets and planning those budgets and evaluating them against the actual performance. So I usually would take a 6 month, every 6 months I would take a break. I would take 2 days, put down in an Excel sheet, put down all my expected revenues, put down all my costs and try to see this is where I'm going to be. This is the amount of loss that I can have. This is the amount of revenues that I can earn. Where would I stand while I'm going to run that business? And then keep comparing it with actuals. This has a very big advantage. I'll give you a real example. Last year, we were going through a cash crunch in the business. And at that point, in August, I could tell my team that the salary for December will be delayed. And that is something which I could forecast because my financial model was very well done. So these are very important examples of things that you can do and inculcate and keep worrying about financials. Please monitor them daily, please monitor them weekly, and you don't have to really micromanage them. Manage them at an overall level, it will be fantastic. So let's begin. How do I do this? And I'm going to share a sample of a sheet. What do I do and how do I go about doing this? So here's a sheet that I am sharing with all of you guys. And this sheet talks about what are the basic revenues, what are the basic costs. This is a dated sheet, so I am not sharing my current business revenues because that's confidential. But this is an old business sheet which I created and I forecasted 2-3 years of business plan. If you look at each of these sheets, there is detailed breakup also, but if you can even build a broad sheet, oh, this is my revenue, this is the amount of revenue breakups that I can have, this is where my revenues will come from, these many number of clients, this much amount of product sale, this much amount of business sale, and how I'm going to incur cost, what salaries, what team, what maintenance, what office cost, and all of these things come down to my EBITDA numbers, then definitely my profit, profitability and net profit numbers. This is something which you should do a drill. And if you are able to do this, you understand who can be paid what, when can you declare your bonuses, what is the time to spend more money on other things. There should also be a buffer time and say, okay, this is a buffer that I'm keeping for my financial management, and that's something which you can do. So if you look at this sheet, now you have the B2B revenue, and if you see this B2B revenue, this comes from another sheet in the entire model, and this sheet talks about the colleges, and this is my business model, so that's why this was education. So there was definitely number of colleges acquired, number of customers acquired, what year, what people would pay me, how much are they going to pay me for each of these models, and that's exactly where my entire business comes along. Similarly, taxes, then talking about costing, so this is my salary level, so then I can actually have a full sheet on salaries, and this one talks about how many people I'm employing, what is the number and what is the salary levels for each of these resources, and then from that I can calculate each person. I can put those names here, usually I do that in reality, but since this is a sample sheet, I am not sharing that with everybody here. So, so this is what gets me to all the costing, all variety of salaries, all marketing salaries, implementation salaries, technology, and this would help me to understand, okay, say I'm going to incur a loss, this is the amount of loss that I'm going to have, where is this money going to come from and how I'm going to manage this entire thing. So this is the broad idea of creating a sheet. Don't make it very complex, make it simple, make it sweet, try to stick to as much close to reality. And this is for you, this is a private sheet, this is not to be shared by anybody, and you can keep it to yourself, just keep matching, moderating. I do this so that I can actually define the bonuses of people in advance. I can think about if this happens, I'm able to achieve targets and this is the amount of bonus that I can declare for my staff. All of these things can be planned out and worked upon. How did I start using this habit and how did I build this habit? So I come from a very average, mediocre, middle class family, and we always had financial constraints. while I grew up. So I remember my college days when I used to maintain a diary and where I used to write this much cost for this much cost for this much, and I used to maintain it because my father used to give me a fixed sum of money, and that habit, nobody asked me where I have spent, but it always helped me to plan up my budgets because I had to pay for, let's say, my books in a particular month. So I would save that much money for 3 months, 4 months from my monthly, allowance that my father would give me and buy those books at those particular times. I could actually save certain amounts of money to go for a party, say sometimes once in 3 months, once in 6 months, and I had to do that planning to do this. So that habit has been with me since that long. And it has always helped me to put down, count it, ensure it. I have never been micromanaging these things. So it's not that I would put down every single expenditure that I have done. I would not do this, but on a monthly basis, for example, today I know which credit card has what amount of costs. My grocery bill is X amount of money, my electricity bill is X amount of money, and those are broad numbers. So I have a broad number breakdown. I don't get down to every single grocery item, for example. So this much of flour and this much of wheat and this much of this much is not what I do. I put an average moderate number, otherwise that becomes a very long exercise. The average broad numbers, average expenses, average costs, and then I know this is the amount of money that I have to spend every month on my household. So that works. Same thing I do and apply for my business. So it has helped. So since I started my business, the first thing that we tell anybody also is to talk about unit economics. Unit economics, budgets, plans are a must have when you're doing a business. So all entrepreneurs, we have always been guiding them and telling them have a good business plan. 5-year forecast. See, most people take it like a very light drill. They make a forecast which is just to show the investors, but that's not real. If you can apply that same knowledge to a realistic situation for yourself, it's confidential. You can very much use it and apply this. So yes, please do this drill. I have gone through bad phases in my financial situation, financial journey. When I went through that financial journey constraint, I had to do this. So when I lost money in my first business, I realized that I am losing money because I did bad financial planning. I was just spending money, giving out salaries, looking at a cash crunch and then thinking about where would the money come from. From that point onwards, I decided I'll create a budget, I'll put down those things and ensure that I fill it up. So it's just not an exercise to show, but it's an exercise for me to do it, and it's not shown to anybody. It's 100% confidential within my files. Tip number 2, good time management. So this is another habit that I have built over a period of time to have a good Google Calendar. I remember a time when my family, there was an evening dinner party happening, and my kids and my niece and nephews were mimicking every single person in the family, and they happened to mimic me with a person completely messed up with my time. So they actually enacted out that I was not able to manage my time, and I was busy doing something sometime, and always busy on the phone and not able to give time to everything. And that's exactly when it struck me that I am not doing enough and I'm not managing my time well. How can others do it? And from that day I decided, let's try to use Google Calendar. So I have been a big fan of Google Calendar, great technology, great things that are available. And what I have done is I actually put down most of my meetings with external people on a Google Calendar. If somebody else also can put it down, they can write an email, put it down, it's tagged to me. My team already has the access, so my team also gets the access to put down those meetings into my calendar. So I know that I will not give a time to anybody else. I keep getting requests from people for speaker sessions, for other knowledge sessions, lot of other meetings, lot of other activities, and randomly people call up, and when they call up on the phone, I need to check my calendar and say, oh, this is what it looks like. So classic Google Calendar. I think all good managers, all good leaders use a calendar app. So let's talk about, and I'm just going to share what I do here. So let's look at this. I mean, this is my just a classic March calendar, for a particular week, which I thought of just sharing. And if I share this out, most of my days at the moment in March, April, May looks like a heavy academic session because I am constantly teaching. So my morning time goes into my FM AFM class, my evening time goes into my CVT class, and alongside there are a couple of career counseling meetings, some other core team meetings, some other meetings here and there in variety of schools and research projects. So all of these meetings are put together, and you can very much see how they are designed and aligned together from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 throughout the day, and the other times is for my team time or for my personal time when there is no external meeting fixed, but then I'm available. So if somebody would ask me for a time during this time, I would be able to say, okay, this time is available, we can fix it up and start using it. So that's about it. This is a very, very interesting thing that you should do. Inculcate it efficiently. It's a super beneficial thing. So you'll be surprised, but while I was a busy, super busy man, let's say 2-3 years back, today my family finds me available. They know that weekends are blocked for them. I don't go out, I don't meet anybody that's dedicated to my family. I will not take phone calls also. And we all do tend to break these habits. So this kept on happening with me also. So Google Calendar, I started using, then I was not able to manage it. I did not get time to put everything together. And there has been a day when I actually goofed up. So what I did was I completely forgot about a meeting. I did not put it in my Google Calendar and I thought my day was free. I went in the afternoon to my house and slept off. And there was one full event and a bunch of 100 people waiting for me to come down to that event, and I was missing, I was sleeping, my phone went on silent, and the entire set of people were struggling to get me. And that was so embarrassing that I said, no, I have to now do this forever, and I have to continue not to give 2 repeated times to people at the same time and use Google Calendar efficiently and effectively. And this has been a great journey then onwards. The third tip that I'm going to talk about is not related to my laptop but related to my phone, and that talks about my screen time and how do I use my mobile phone efficiently. Again, a classic problem, and I learned this challenge from my daughter. She has got a serious screen addiction, at least she had it some point of time, and we literally had to worry about what's going on. When I saw that, I saw my own self, and then I realized that I am also doing the same. I am watching my phone for a very long time and I'm harming my eyes, I'm harming my body, and I'm harming a lot of things. So from that point onwards, I decided to change this habit, and here it what looks like. So let's pull out my phone and let's talk about it. Here is my phone. And what we're going to do is I'm just want to show you what I have. So here is my screen time screen, and I'm going to press my digital well-being and I'm going to talk about my screen time. Here you can see my entire last week and how it looks like. Let's take the highest screen time, which is 5 hours 18 minutes, and you might say, oh, I have a very high screen time. But let's scroll down, and the moment you see this, you see maps, which is 3 hours 25 minutes, which means that I have been to my I was traveling and I was using my Google Maps and I was driving for 3 hours. So out of 5.5 hours, 3.5 hours for this. Then my WhatsApp business is 49 minutes, my Google is 23 minutes, my WhatsApp is 18 minutes, my Instagram is 1 minute, and the rest is phone, Paytm and Truecallers and my calendar and my settings. So this is how it looks like. Let's look at another day. Let's look at Wednesday, for example. It's less because this day I did not have Google Maps on. So my WhatsApp business is like an hour, my phone is an hour, and WhatsApp otherwise is 20 minutes, just an Uber because I was traveling by Uber, and my Chrome. So this is exactly how it looks like. It is between 2 to 3 hours a day, and that's the primary thing that I do in all these cases. So why this habit has been very, very effective? It has helped me to cut down my screen time significantly, improve my sense of fatigue. It has improved my sense of urgency. I don't look at my phone every time it buzzes. I keep it aside. I have a dedicated time of an hour in the evening where I look at my WhatsApp, reply to all of them, as many as I can, and finish it off. So I have an 11 to 12 p.m. kind of a plan for my WhatsApp messages. I have a classic time for my phone calls. Only when somebody who's known to me calls me, I'll pick up the phone. Otherwise, I'll not pick up the phone, or I will have a calling time which is in the evening, and when I'm free then I'll call back all the missed call people, and I'll manage this time way better. So this helps me to organize, be effective in every meeting, every session and every activity that I'm doing, and also it has built a habit for all the other people also around me. So now my office team also knows that I am not going to answer things. They also know that if there is anything urgent, then they have to call me twice to understand that this is an urgent situation, otherwise I'll not pick up the phone, and all of these things are planned out like that. So if you can actually think of situations like that, please plan your screen time nicely, please plan and not exert your eyes, don't pick up your phone every time, be focused on everything. How did I build this habit? It was initially very difficult. I used to keep on holding my phone all the time. I would watch videos on it. I would just scroll on Instagram. I would just scroll, YouTube videos, and I would just waste my time. And then I realized I should not be doing this. I should be very, very effective with my entire thing. I took a conscious effort. I installed Zen app earlier. Now I don't need it, so I've uninstalled it, but then it would lock my phone in like 1 hour, 2 hours time. So every time my screen time was crossing 1 hour, it would lock it for 15 minutes. It will give me a reminder on saying that, oh, you have exceeded the time. It used to be very, very high earlier, and then from a 6 hour to now a 2 to 3 hours is a very strong reduction. I've reduced it by 50% on a slow and steady basis, and now this is effective phone usage, and I'm very happy and confident about it. These 3 habits have been very, very efficient and effective. I think they're very daily use case habits. You can very much inculcate these habits. There's nothing rocket science in these habits. Better financial planning, better time management, better phone usage is going to help you to become more efficient in any which way. I still feel that these habits I have not taken to the level that I want to take them to. So there is a lot more to be done. For example, I can start using variety of other apps to manage these things better, organize and bring the 3 things together, all such things together, and all of this can be done better for sure. I have not given enough time to analyze whether I am doing it the best way, but this is definitely be way effective than all other things. So now I am able to pull out time for variety of businesses. My business has expanded almost 3x to 4x in the last 3 years, and with that expansion of business, this has become a very, very handy tool to organize, plan and manage. So I hope these tips help you. Please take care of it. Try to see if you can inculcate them slowly into your lives, and this can be used by anybody. So wish you a lot of efficient time management.